everyone, and welcome to another episode of Ask an Author. Very excited today because not only do we have a new author joining us, we have a new book birthday to celebrate. Yay! Hi, Elizabeth. Welcome. Thank you so much for coming on today.
Thank you for having me, Michelle. It's so nice to see you. I know we've caught up quite often in the past at face-to-face events, and to meet you again on Zoom is just lovely. And while we can't get together, I'm glad to see your face.
I know, and I am so happy that we can share this book birthday together. That's really, really special.
It is. Very, very exciting.
Tell me about Rain Shaker. How did you come up with the idea?
Well, like you, I'm a mum, and my parents and my husband's parents live in Ireland and the UK. So for many years when our little girls, my daughters are adults, they would be phoning and chatting to the grandparents, and the grandparents would be bemoaning the fact that there was lots of rain and lots of cold weather. We would be having droughts and hot weather. And the story really began from those conversations, because we were like, it's not terribly fair to have all the rain there and all the drought and heat here. Could we shake it up? Could we share it a little? And that little seed of thought stayed with me for several years. And then the idea of climate change was very much around, and the story grew. So instead of becoming a conversation between grandparent and child, I wanted to put the child very central in the middle of the story, and have the story coming from the child, and having the child influence the activities and what was going on. So Rain Shaker was born, and the protagonist, Erin, is a little girl who wants to change her world, and she does.
That's amazing. So did you write this book because you thought, you know what, I really want to publish a book about that specific I guess topic that's really important at the moment? Or as you were writing it, did you think, you know what, actually I think this is a really important book to publish? Kind of where did that thought come in for you?
Well, this is my second book with Big Sky Publishing, who are the amazing Australian publishers who published The Forever Kid. And I had this great relationship with them and really liked the way they worked. And their books do often have ideas and issues and topics that get people to think, both in their adult section and their children's section of books. So I knew that I'd want to keep writing after having started writing. You just don't stop, you know, yourself as an author, the ideas are constantly there. I've already had a few new ones come to me this morning on my morning walk, and it just keeps coming. You just can't help thinking of ideas, stories, and things you want to share. So with that bubbling away in my brain, I was thinking about this idea of the weather, and because I'm very much an outdoors person, I really feel passionately about the environment and what we can do. And it's all very well to say, oh, there's climate change and people don't care for the planet, and people have done things wrong in the past, but those are things that we can't really influence. What we can influence is our own action and what we can do today, now. And I'm very much believing in, we might be in a situation we don't like, for instance, drought, and we want a positive future, but we can't always control that. So, but what we can do is how we are now. So I think and write a lot about that, and really the story came from it. But more than that, I wanted it to be a story children loved. Mm-hmm. I don't know about you, but I'm a big bookworm, and I just loved as a child, I just loved reading and getting my head into books, and loved a good story. And I would read books I liked more than once, again and again. And as authors, we want that. We want children to enjoy our books and not just go, you know, done, closed, the end. That it's not the end, and you get something from a story every time you read it. So that's
absolutely. Yeah. And besides the publisher, did you have any other help bringing this story to life?
Well, you know what? The Illustrator always adds another dimension, don't they?
Yes.
So I have this manuscript, the manuscript's polished, I have my wonderful critique groups, that I join, and I've had opportunities through Writing New South Wales and Australian Authors Society of Authors and Squibbie and CBCA to engage and chat with other creators and to really have opportunities at their workshops and their seminars and through their social networking to really chat about how stories are, how I can make my story shine, and how I can learn from others. And even watching what you do, watching what other people I admire in the book industry do, reading other books, all help me grow in my own writing and make it the best I can. And it's a constant journey. I don't think you ever get to the top. You're just constantly growing and evolving your writing. So
Absolutely.
yeah. So that, and then of course, once it is at that ready to be published stage, your editor and your illustrator are fundamental in making that story really pop and really shine and do the best it can. So Cheri Hughes, who illustrated Rainshaker, has just done a joyous job of this. And she has an extraordinary use of colour. So I really love the way she uses her, what we call a palette of colour, and the way she brings the action into, I mean, this is a still image, isn't it? It's just a picture, but it's more than just a picture, because here we can really feel the energy in our protagonist, and that, before we even open the book, tells us so much about what the story will be like. And look, she's got some little rain happening. I don't know if you can see that.
Yes, I can. I was going to say, I love the shine and the shimmer and the wet. That is so cool. That is awesome. Have you got a favorite page from the book? Like, is there just one page that you looked at and went, how did she know that's what my story looked like? Do you ever do that? Like when you're looking at illustrations for the first time? Because we can't do the pictures. Like, we're not those magical unicorn creatures who can make the pictures. Is there one page that you looked at and went, oh, how did she know that's what my story was?
Every page has something extraordinary. Yes. And there's one, can I do two?
You can do two. You can do, show me.
There's one page, she has such a great little expression for Erin. On every page it's different. And she has one page where Erin discovers a snow shaker. And that really is the catalyst for her thinking, well, I can make the snow shake in this little snow shaker ornament, but I want to make it rain in my own life. So here she is. I think that's gorgeous. Can you see that?
Yes. Oh,
but my very favorite page is she then thinks she's made the rain come. So she has these extraordinary dreams of joy and happiness and traveling through oceans and rivers and imagining all sorts of things to do with the fact the water has come and her sunflowers will grow. And it was quite sort of poetic language and so on that I used when I was writing it. And Cheri got to these words, and this is what she created. It's just marvelous. She's got, this is the one here where she's got her with a mermaid tail, and then she's just got a soaring like a bird, and she takes these scales of the mermaid into becoming the leaves and feathers of the bird, and then she takes them into becoming the sunflower petals, and then the petals are back out, shooting out of her dream into the reality of the drought again. And it's so clever. I just looked at it and I went, that's it.
I just think that illustrators are just rock stars. Like, seriously. Like, they make us look good.
They do, and how they see the world. And recently we had one of our speakers at our Children's Book Council meeting talking about visual literacy and how it's so important for children to connect with a story and ideas through what they see. And it's being identified now as something that is important, and also not everyone is going to be very fast or good or fluent or want to read with their head in a book like a bookworm like I was, but they're going to enjoy ideas and stories, and they don't want to be put off. So books that use pictures and images in a strong way are really helpful, and they allow people to have access to these ideas instead of saying, oh no, you're not a reader, you can't have access. So it allows them, and it shows them that you can be a reader. It's not just the alphabet that you need to understand and engage with to read. It's all these other aspects, and the way pictures are set in a book, and the way your eye is focused, all sorts of things. And it's a wonderful concept, and illustrators are gifted at showing that.
Absolutely. So on this magical journey that you've had to become an author, what do you think is the best part about what you do? Is it having the book birthdays, or is there something else that you love?
Oh, there's some magical moments, aren't there? You know that feeling when you get the first copy of the book in your hand, when it's actually made into a book? I don't know about you, but I get emotional. You know, there's tears, or there's like, it's just such a joyous feeling, that thing that you thought, that little seed of an idea you might have had at 3 a.m, has become something so wonderful and that can be shared. So that's very lovely and gratifying. But I do think the idea that you can reach people through words and through story is fundamentally part of being human, isn't it? We were doing it on cave walls back in the day, and we're not going to stop. It's going to be interesting to see how technology takes us in and helps us continue sharing stories. And I think that idea that we can have a window to other worlds, you know, in fiction and in non-fiction, how we can have a window to knowledge and idea generation of our own. So you'll get the facts and the information in non-fiction, but it will also give you opportunity to develop your own thinking, and that could be creative, or it could be, you know, innovative in another way, like scientifically. And I think that is such a wondrous thing. I'm a primary school teacher, so of course, you know, the literacy and the accessing and the gift of education and information are big things for me. And I think every child's right to education starts with every child's right and access to story and to their own stories, and how they then connect with the stories of others. And you know, it could be in a book, it could be oral, but I think as a writer, it's such an honor to be part of that bigger picture, that bigger conversation of encouraging literacy and encouraging ideas for our world, for ourselves, and for our relationships.
Yep, totally agree. Totally agree. Stories are pretty magic, aren't they?
Yeah.
And
on a wet day, what's better than snuggling up with a book and sort of transporting yourself to Narnia or something like that?
I know. And finally, what would be your advice to creative kids who are watching this today thinking, you know what, one day I would really like to share my story? What would your advice be for them?
I was going to say, absolutely, you have a story, and your stories are so important, and you might have the full story now. You might just have a character or an idea or a plot or even a setting. So write these down, keep a note, don't forget them, and keep writing, keep reading. So if you want to be a writer, you need to be a reader. You need to access other people's ideas and build on ways that you can use language and pictures to share. And if you have a story to tell, then you will have your turn to tell it. And there are so many ways now that young people can get on computers and create all sorts of programs that interact with all sorts of programs that allow them to share their stories, or to take their stories into some sort of form to be shared. So even things like, and I don't know terribly much about this, but something like Minecraft allows people to build worlds. And so they're creating an environment, they're creating a landscape, they're creating a time and a place and a setting for action to happen. So these are all ways that young people might not recognize are actually storytelling. And what about Lego? You know, if you're building Lego, not only are you using your math skills, but you're using your creative skills that could tell stories. And these building things, these games, these ways of playing are actually ways of communicating and sharing your ideas, and your ideas are so important. I mean, we're going to be looking to the young people, aren't we, to generate ideas and take us forward.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think everyone is a storyteller. Everyone tells stories every single day.
You know, you just need to be on the way to school and going, guess what happened last night? Or you wouldn't believe this.
Absolutely agree. So if we want to get a copy of your beautiful book, Rain Shaker, it's so beautiful. Where would you suggest would be the best place that we could get a copy?
Well, the standard answer is all good bookshops. So,
yes, your local independent bookstore. Yes.
I'm published by Big Sky Publishing. They obviously have a website, so if you want to bulk order, please do through them. But if you're someone who wants to go into a bookstore, you can go into Dimmicks, you can go into any of your bookstores, and you can just say, hey, do you have Rain Shaker? And your wonderful bookshop people will have be looking that up, because we have special catalogue systems, and if they don't have it, they're usually pretty happy to get books in, because they can't stock every book in the world. But when someone wants a book, they have ways of ordering, like, you know, anyone does on online shopping, so they can get a book in for you. And if you can't have access to a bookshop, or you're not in a position to be buying a book, you could go to your library. Your library would love to get Rain Shaker in if they don't already have it, and I think some of them do. So if you go in and say, hey, I really would like to read Rain Shaker by Elizabeth Mary Cummings, or I'd really like to read all of Michelle Worthington's books, you get them in, and they will look up our names or our titles, and they will get them in for you. They do that. And
they're amazing. And if kids or schools or parents watching want to get in contact with you, what's the best place that they can get in contact with you?
Okay, so I have a website. I'm elizabethmarycummings.com, and I have a contact page on that website. As I said, I'm a primary school teacher background, so I love going into schools and libraries, and I love running workshops, and I've done that here in Sydney. I've done it all over the world, in fact. So I've not long back before the start of COVID from the UK, and ran lots of workshops over there in Manchester and London. So that was very exciting.
Wow.
And so, yes, absolutely. Yes, we take bookings already for next year. We're getting some coming through. So give us a buzz, and I can do Zoom workshops and author talks too. And like you, I tailor it to what the school wants. So from learning support units to gifted and talented, and the number of high schools that are interested also in the whole creative writing process. So, you know, so picture book writers.
It's so much fun talking to high school kids about picture books, because for one, I make them be preppies again. Because, all right, you're all going back to prep, and then some of them are like, what? Like, and some of them are like, yes.
That's right. And some of them already have ideas for careers or where they want to take it, and particularly the ones studying art and design, and the computer skill ones, where they can actually start building the stories, and they work between departments. So, you know, there's lots of opportunities out there. And like you, we just love getting engaged with our readership and our audiences, and sharing words.
Yes, and everybody loves picture books.
Oh, yes, we do.
Thank you so much for taking the time and sharing your book birthday with me today. I am so excited, and it is a beautiful, magical book. Congratulations. And I would love for when the next book comes out, if we can have another book birthday celebration with
It's so great. Yes.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Yeah, it won't be long. So thank you so much, everybody, for watching today's Ask an Author, and join us for another one very, very soon. Bye.
Bye. Thank you.